Hi everyone, welcome to Literary Gladiators. I love saying this, a show where we discuss and we're going to debate some literature today in all of its forms. It's written work, so it's obviously game. I'm in Josh's library. I'm doing another individual video. For those of you that don't know, my name's Charlie. For those of you who do know, please don't panic. I'm not going on any tangents. I thought talking about Maya Angelou would be a good idea today. And Josh actually came up with the idea, and I like where this is going. We both came up with the idea, and I took the ball and ran with it. Then I fell. And, you know, we narrowed down some poems, that, some little works. For those of you that do know, you know, they say short and sweet and right to the point. That's how she works. That's how she wrote. A lot of her works are only... This one I'm going to discuss today is I Almost Remember. It's a page and not even a quarter. But I believe in quantity, not quality. Quality, not quantity. That's what I believe in. Excuse me. I believe in quality. But still, I like a good read every now and then. Well, I want to be on the show. Alright, I Almost Remember. I'm going to read it to you, but I think we'll post a link with it in there. And I'm going to discuss to you how I feel, how I relate to it, and how, you know, I'm always open to interpretations. So, let's get this ball rolling. I almost remember, smiling some years past, even combing the ceiling with the teeth of a laugh. Longer ago than a smile. Open nights, news-eyed, I'd watch channels of hunger, written on children's faces. Bursting bellies balloon in the air of my day room. There was a smile, I recall, now gelled in a never-yesterglow. Even a laugh that tickled the tits of heaven, older than a smile. In graphs afraid, I see the black-brown hands and white, thin yellowed fingers, slipping from the ledge of life, forgotten by all but hatred. Ignored by all but disdain. On late evenings, when quiet inhabits my garden, when grass sleeps, and streets are the only paths for silent mist, I seem to remember smiling. I read this poem. Excuse me. I read this poem about. I can't say how many times I read it, and it's beautiful, and I've read it over 20 times. That's how beautiful it is, and I want to keep reading it. The book I'm using here, Josh let me borrow, is Maya Angelou, The Complete Poetry. We'll get to that at the end, but I wanted to let you know. It's in part 5, and I think it's the first one in part 5. Here's my interpretation, and I'm always open to, you know, everyone else's discussion about it. When you remember something, or whenever, I think there's remember, like, oh, I remember what happened, or there's reminiscing, like, oh, see, here's your cousin Frank, you know, because, you know, and stuff like that. You're going through the old pictures, you're reliving some of the good times, maybe some of the bad times, but I see this as the writer sitting, contemplating, remembering the good and the bad that happened in his or her life. I'm not saying the writer is Maya Angelou, even though we know who wrote the poem, but we're using, you know, how we should do it. We should never put the author in the work. That's everything I was taught in every class I took, and I'm sure you know that. But just for now, I am going to put her in here. She's probably remembering what she's been going through in her life. When you know, for example, if I'm sitting down, I don't watch TV, but she's sitting down, and I see here, I think it's the first stanza. Jeez, I can't even say it. Open night news, eyed. I watch channels of hunger. Right there. When I see that, I see a kind of like a television or even a radio. Because back then, I don't know how far back this goes, but let's just say it was a TV set, and you're seeing these kids. They're hungry. Like, you know these commercials you see, those infomercials that it's like, really, I don't want to cry today. She's seeing that and she's remembering, maybe she's remembering something that has happened to her or whoever in the past and say, I remember that. And trying to reconnect it. Okay? I think, and this is a strong argument I'm making here, I think this is a poem that was written in twilight years by the writer. Meaning, at twilight years, I think we all know what that means, I'm not going to say it. But, and you're remembering, you're reminiscing, the good, the bad, whatnot. She talks about, or whoever the writer is, talks about the smile. Longer ago than the smile. And it's in quotations. Okay. Older than the smile in the second stanza. And then, the very last remaining phrase is, I seem to remember smiling. Why is she smiling if there's, or whoever, why is the writer smiling? In graphs, afraid, I see the black, brown hands and white, thin, yellowed fingers. Okay, what's that supposed to mean? Basically, I take it as these people who are of a different color, black, or African American, whatnot, they have, way back when, they had very little. Especially during the 1960s when they said, hey, I want to sit here. Okay, going back to the 1950s, 1960s. The social injustice that was going on at the time. When I see, like what I just read to you in the second stanza, and graphs afraid, I see they're probably showing you their hands, saying, look, this is what I do. I work in a dirt field, I work in a mine, or something like that, and I still have nothing to eat, or drink, or sleep. That was the time back then. There was no, let me go get my supervisor, because your supervisor was normally something we're not going to say on camera. So I'm just going to conclude this here and say, with the very last phrase, I seem to remember smiling. Maybe the writer lived a good life and said, yes, there was a lot of social injustice, and maybe I've done what I could to help. Okay. I'm sure all of us here, I myself like to help out with local charities and stuff like that. But and we all know Maya Angelou. She was God's gift to mankind. And sadly taken away too soon. This book I am referring to, courtesy of Josh. I'm in his. Did I mention I'm in his library? I love this place here. It's Random House, New York, New York. So they know what they're doing up there. And again, it's Maya Angelou, The Complete Poetry. I'm going to hold it here, kind of like this. Hope you can see it. If not, still. And it has quite a bit of her work in here. It's, there's several parts of it, part one, part two, there's and a lot of them have their own, different works, and they're afraid. It's been a while since I've studied some English, so I will admit that, but been reading every night, though. I Shall Not Be Moved, I know all the little poems in there about that. On the Pulse of Morning, there's celebrations, all these inner works in here. So, to say, I find this to be, I found this to be a great read. And also I read a few other ones as well. She does a knockout, bang down job. That's not even a complete sentence right there. But I think she did an excellent job describing maybe her life, or maybe someone else's life for them. I don't know, really. It's open to interpretation. It's not brain surgery. But let me know what you think. Say, hey, you got something there, or say, what? So anyway, thank you for joining us today on Literary Gladiators, and as we always say here, especially Josh, keep reading.